Now, had my mic muted this whole time. Okay, maybe I've got this going on now. Screwing this all up. Sorry, bear with me. Okay. All right. Now, hopefully, that'll get all the glitches out of the way. Probably not, but we can hope. I got to check something. Sorry. My name's Chuck Dixon. Welcome to my shitty. Okay. Okay. Just making sure my mic was out there and everything. It's at a real low level. Nobody's watching anyway, but that's the time to test it and make sure. Hey, Rob. The light in here sucks this morning. All right. Yeah, noticed the last couple times I did this that I seem to get a little more done a little more quickly. So I think I'm going to go back to a little more traditional inking, at least on live streams. That seems to be what everybody wants to see. No, it won't make it difficult to piece together afterwards. Um, yeah, it should be fine because I will over ink on these spots where the claws are and things like this. And then I'm going to do the slashy borders and stuff digitally anyway. So I'll just scan that and pop that into the slashy layout that I do. It'll follow what you've got. Um, I'm trying to I'm trying to recruit Chuck. What you doing here? It's private. Oh, what's going on, Nate? Recruit me for what, man? The light is particularly shitty in here today. I'm really gonna have to do something about that light situation, both for you guys and so that I can see what the hell I'm doing while I'm doing it here. Hmm. Deeply art geek kind of stuff, I gotta say. Watching people ink. I do it myself. I understand. Especially if you're somebody that does the craft, you want to look and see how other people are doing it. They might have stumbled onto an idea you haven't. Keep wishing I had the undo button. I do, kind of. Don't worry, I'm just wiping that up. I'm not gonna get all Jim Lee about it. I don't know what I'm doing with the thing. Oh, hey, that puts out quite a bit, doesn't it? Sure does. Maybe I will do a little Jim Lee thing. Okay, a little bit of a learning curve, but that's all right. All right, that stuff usually dries pretty quick. Okay, not my favorite stuff in the world, but it covers real good. Adopting styles that I use in inking for myself. Um, well, that's sort of the way collaboration's supposed to work. Ideally, is you're both supposed to kind of take some influence from each other to some degree. I think the collaboration works best when it starts to become a third person in the mix. It's not one person's style or the other, and you really don't get that kind of look without the combination of the two people. Well, Frank Miller and Klaus Janson being a perfect example. I never saw Frank Miller's work look the way it did with Klaus Janson ever again after they stopped working together. In fact, The Dark Knight Returns looks dramatically different from Daredevil because they had better paper and they knew they could get away with more printing techniques and things like this. And I guess Miller really wanted to lean into that, which means that the heavy outlines and stuff that Jansen would want to do and the blacks and things like this, those had to kind of get sidelined. Uh, so he wanted to show off the color process. I'm not going to test that white out yet. I'm tempted to go back in and beef that up like I'm looking for, but I don't think it's going to be dry. I don't want to see what that shit will do to the end of this brush pen. And What I do see you doing wrong quite a bit is I see you really focusing in on your pencils, getting them tight to make sure that what you're giving me is, a good indication of what you had in mind. It's different when you're penciling for your stuff, for yourself, um, and I know that. I don't put down all these lines in pencil. That doesn't go there, Penciling's a much looser process for me, mainly because I don't really consider it the end result. The pencils are just sort of there as a preliminary, but the final drawing itself, that happens in ink, and that's how I feel about it. There are exceptions, but for me, the way I work most of the time, that's how I think of it. Mm. Let's get at that little teeny tiny micron that I've gotten here someplace. Oh no, I don't have it. Where did it go? Yeah, I was thinking about that this morning. Like I shouldn't have voiced that here on the stream. If I was going to tell you something like that, I should have done it in private. Oh my god, that's probably too hard. I'm used to an atmosphere where uh, people give and take criticism as long as it's not mean spirited. It's done in the spirit of trying to help you with your work. Work's done pretty freely, and people are, I don't know, but people aren't like that anymore. It seems like they won't just like lay it on Front Street like that. Of course, even before people started being like that, I would often get accused of being too blunt. Sorry, wasn't trying to crush anyone's hopes and dreams or anything. I wish these damn things were differently colored and spend so much time looking at them going, is this the one I want? Is this the hard tip? Is this a soft tip? Because it's just too similar. Straightforward at all times. No, I mean I don't mind telling you about it. I just like calling you out in public here on the stream. That might have been inappropriate. Like I should have shared that with you privately. That's just me not being used to being on camera and oh shit. Oh yeah, that's right. It's not just me and these couple of people that are here. This is like the internet and it never forgets anything. So I don't know. I just need to be a little more cognizant of that. Okay, I don't want to get too carried away with that. In fact, I probably should have used the high-tech C, and I will on this side. Actually, this side I won't mess with. Yeah. See, and this is one of those things where you get used to working digitally. I probably should not have done these lines here on the hand, and I probably will go back in and take them out digitally because I want them to go with the same pattern as I'm going to have here for the shading on the metal, like I'm going to have here. So I got all one thing going on, but that's okay because unlike the old days, I'm in charge of it after it gets scanned too. Hey, look at that. Sorry, bumping the mic. Here comes my dog. Hi, Marvin. It's like, who are you talking to? It's just the voices in my head again. Don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah, I think that looked nice. My mother's a tracer. What did I think of chasing Amy as an inker being called a tracer? Having him explain ink, have him explain what inking actually is. I, I view it differently now than I did when that came out. That came out, and I'd been in the business maybe a year. Uh, so it was one of those things. I was still unsure of myself as an artist. I was still new to the industry, and the level of insecurity that I had around all that, uh, I didn't take it well. I didn't take it well. I took myself far too seriously back then, and wanted to be thought of as an artist on equal footing. At one time, inkers were, before the advent of guys like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld and things like that. Pencils used to leave the work much looser often, and it was up to an inker's interpretation. And if you had a good inker, they were going to bring it home for you. And if you had a not so good inker, well, you got paid, right? If it was Marvel or DC. So, there wasn't as much concern put on the end result by artists at that time because they were, this wasn't what they really wanted to do. They wanted to be illustrators very often. They were slumming when they were doing comics. It's like, man, I'm kind of hanging my head about the whole thing anyway. So, by all means, I'm going to use a pen name, and you know, it wasn't as highly regarded as it has become in some circles, anyway. I think it used to have a lot more shine to it back in the '90s. You know, back when Rob Liefeld was doing Levi's commercials, it looked pretty damn cool, and it was. You know, now I kind of view it differently. Now it's like, you know, because like I heard once, I read someplace once that Klaus Janson got hit with that line, and like all it is tracing. All you're doing is tracing. It doesn't take any particular skill or ability or talent. And at which point, Klaus, you hand him a brush and you go, try it, see how you do. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I was cocky enough to think maybe I could do it, and then eventually learned to do it. So, but it wasn't like that happened in a vacuum. That's for sure. Just going, okay, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, that's not gonna work. You know. So if I hadn't had uh, guidance early on from Scott Williams, and Tom McWeeny helped me a lot too early on because I wasn't the most social fellow in the world. Had my issues like a lot of artists do. Not exactly people persons all the time. But yeah, Scott Williams helped me quite a bit. I did get a lot of time getting advice and critiques and things like this from him. Now, is this my. Yes, that's the soft tip one. Damn it. I don't want to use that one up. This one I got lots of. And catch up with everybody here. Back in the 70s, early 80s, the inker was crucial to make deadlines. That's absolutely correct, Count Chocula. Absolutely correct. If you see any of John Buscema's pencils that he did past, say, I don't know, like the Avengers run, when he, 74, 75, when he really started doing a lot of work, and his stuff loosened up quite a bit. And that's the way they wanted it. Like, okay, it's going to spread you thin, but we'll just get really good inkers that can come in and finish it up. And then that way, instead of having two John Buscema books a month, we can have five, you know. So, yeah, you absolutely had to have good inkers in play. Terry Austin is a very talented illustrator in his own right. Klaus Jansen's absolutely tremendous in terms of the what he can bring to the game. There's lots of artists like that I can think of, like Joe Rubenstein, Dick Giordano, uh, guys that can, that could really do it all on their own. They're just making money slinging ink. Hey, Top Burger, thanks. Appreciate that. Nice art, man. Jeff Yoon, Liefeld on Hawk and Dove looks good because of Carl Kiesel, in my opinion. I agree with that. I think that Carl was really on fire at that particular point in time. I liked very much liked the Legends series that he did over John Byrne. It's not exactly the most remembered thing in the world at this point, I don't think, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I enjoyed a lot of the Superman work that he inked over Byrne as well. Um, I thought, wow, okay, this guy is, because Byrne at that time, especially as a fan, like, man, you better get Terry Austin in here. If you can't get Terry Austin, it could be a train wreck because it seemed like they had trouble finding inkers that could ink Byrne real well. Like, man, I'd rather just see him ink himself most of the time. Mm, yeah. Damn thing. All right. I guess I am going to go ahead and lose that grad that I stuck in there. It looks different once you start, like, filling these shapes in. Like you see it outlined and you drop an X in there or, something like that. You get an indication, but you don't really know until you filled in a solid black. Catch up on everybody here. Didn't like Klaus Jansen's inks on burn. Depends upon which time you're talking about. I saw him do some stuff on burn back in the Miller Jansen days on Daredevil. And he inked a few Avengers pages and even like a fill-in issue of Avengers, and he did it in that old style. I did enjoy that, and I do enjoy that look. Um, but every other time, like that Wolverine stuff that he inked over burn, I think that's the only thing I can think of where Jansen was inking. He wasn't doing that anymore. So, and furthermore, it wasn't exactly as Jeff Yoon points out here. Klaus was doing finishes over that burn stuff, that Wolverine stuff. So it's not exactly the tight pencils that Terry Austin would have gotten to ink necessarily. It's sort of just a quick and gritty version because you can put it out there faster. You know. So my understanding from what I heard anyway is that Byrne really wanted to work with Archie Goodwin, and that's really the only reason why he, pitched in on Wolverine anyway. Like, well, I want to work with Goodwin, so which I get that. I definitely think that Klaus is more of a finisher, like Sienkiewicz or Kevin Nolan. At least at one point he was. I mean, I haven't seen Klaus's work in quite a few years, but he's definitely one of those guys that brings more to the game than just tracing. That's for sure. Okay. Make sure I know what I'm doing here. Hey, thanks, Jeff Ewing. You too, Count Chocula. I appreciate that. Fortunately for Rob, I've done this once or twice. He was the first to tune in, actually. I think he looks forward to seeing what I'm going to do with what he's put down. I look forward to it too. I don't really know how it's going to go down. Tried to make the character awesome for once. Not sure what I could do with the elephant guy. So I'll probably be live streaming here for, I don't know, about another hour. What I'm thinking. Everybody's going to be gone for a little bit. House is nice and quiet for once, except for the sounds of the fans. I apologize for the background noise if you're getting any of that from the fans. But the American Southwest is having a heat wave going on this weekend like crazy for how early in the season it is. Triple digits. Buzz Off and Stinker should form a union and go on strike from Rob's comic? I don't know. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I think that works. Okay. No, the whole tracer thing from Chaser Gaming, I didn't take it as well as I do now. It doesn't bother me anymore because, like I said, I like the Clausewitz Janssen response. You think that's all it is, huh? Well, give it a try.